So are we ready to do this, Christine, or what?
Let's do this.
Oh my goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back again for another episode 124 of the Get Reelisms Podcast. I am still Adam Chase Rani.
I am still Christine Chen. And we have a special guest today for our Firewatch chat session. So, special guest, could you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Loren Maxine.
Awesome. Loren, what do you do? What's your role? What exciting things do you want to tell us?
Yeah, so I am a independent film producer. I am a writer, and I just started directing my web series not too long ago. So now I added that to my resume. But main thing, I am a producer and a writer.
Very cool. So would you say that you are a director out of necessity, that you are more of a writer and you just want to get your stuff seen, and so you directed? Or
Yes.
Did you always do it?
No, I definitely got into directing out of necessity. I mean, I think I just second guessed myself, and with my new project, it is a digital series, so I have multiple episodes, and I wanted to do the TV show route, as in having a different director each episode. And I just had an episode where I was like, I don't have a director. And my friend's like, just direct it, like, it's your show. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it out. And I enjoyed it, so yeah, so I definitely out of necessity. But my true love is producing.
What? That is like
That's
I never
crazy.
hear that.
Yeah,
ever.
I never hear that either. That's awesome.
That's why I'm like, oh crap, you and I need to get together because
Yeah.
I produce out of necessity. If I could never produce ever, I'd be okay with that. And then directing is my love. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, directing and writing is my love, and then I produce so that I can direct. So that's cool. Look, we are like two puzzle pieces.
Yes,
That are
coming together. We can work together.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the series. How long in development has it been, and like when did you start writing it? What is it about? What's it called?
Yeah, so my series is called Homegirls. It is about four close friends. They do live in LA, but essentially we are opening the door into their lives, and they are just going through little antics and going through their day-to-day lives of being 20-something-year-olds. These are four Black women, early 20s, and they modeled after my friends. Honestly, when I think maybe like last year, I always wanted to do a show like this. One of my favorite show out of all time is Living Single. So anything just highlighting sisterhood and Black women, I just adored. So when I just became closer with my friends out here, I'm like, yo, we're like so funny. Like literally, and just we have Sunday dinners, we just go out and just enjoy each other's company. And all of my close friends are creatives. We're either writers, directors, actors, the whole thing, producers. And I brought this show to my now showrunner, Joy Pierre, and we just started writing and creating, and we got a writer's room together. We got a bunch of directors together, and we put it into production. Right now, we are in post as well as production because we have a reshoot date for an episode because that was a whole bunch of technical difficulties one day, but we are in post-production officially, and it will premiere in January 2024. The show is written, produced, directed by women of color.
Excellent. How long will each episode be?
Each episode is only about 8 to 10 minutes, so it's very quick. Yeah, only 2 acts. The first act is essentially them getting ready to go to an event or preparing for something, and act 2 is the aftermath of like what happened and the craziness and all of that.
Very cool. And how length of time that each episode takes to shoot, or how many episodes did you shoot per production day?
Right. So we only have 5 episodes, and each episode we shot in one day, actually.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
So our schedule was pretty So it was a little rushed because of some of our crew members and writers and talent are actually college students as well in grad school. So we wanted to make sure we got everything done before they go back to school in late August. And each episode took 1 day to shoot. So we did like an episode 1 weekend in July. I mean, 2 episodes the first weekend, 2 episodes the second weekend, and then the last episode the third weekend.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it moved very quickly, very quickly.
Does it all take place in the apartment or wherever they live? Yeah.
Yeah, so every episode takes place on a character's couch. So essentially, you like literally opening the doors into their lives, and they're at the couch getting ready for this event, or they leave the house, come back, and it's always in someone's living room. So it also makes it producible. As an independent producer, it makes it easy to find locations because we just use cast and crew locations. And yeah, it was really fun, honestly.
Yeah. What was the biggest challenge that you ran into?
Biggest challenge would be, biggest challenge. Honestly, mainly the technical difficulty that we had for when we shot one of our episodes. The power went out for the whole block. So you can't do anything at that point. That's just the universe. Yeah, you can't do anything. So we did plan a shoot date, but everything else, it was just the coordinating of schedules because everything was so rushed and everyone, they have their 9 to 5s or the regular jobs. And we had to connect the actors with the directors because there was a different director every episode. There was, we had a different DP every weekend as well because these are all people who are volunteering their time. Yeah, this is just a passion project. So it was that and creating the shot lists and storyboards in such a short time frame. But we did do it and it worked out. And we had just an amazing crew that really genuinely enjoyed being on set. I love that.
Yeah, that's super cool. I remember the first thing I shot where it was all volunteer was the same thing. It's like whenever people had time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was cycling people who were like, oh no, I got a gig. Well, shit. So it's
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you do many different hats. I mean, first day I was like holding up a flag, like I was being the grip. And honestly, I enjoyed learning the new skill. And I was like, oh, I learned a new phrase, like Hollywood this and Hollywood that. And like, now I know.
Yep. Very good. Is there something that you would have done differently now that you look back upon it?
Oh, definitely. I would have more prep time, like pre-production. Pre-production is very important regardless. You always need a lot of prep, a lot of pre-production time. If I knew the schedule and how things would have changed, I would have done that a lot more. Yeah. And just prepared for that and also prepared for marketing because my producer mind, I think of everything in pre-production as well as production. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Afterwards, my co-producer, she's very good at marketing. So she's like, so where do you want to put it? And I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta think about that. Like, who do I want to show it to? Because I genuinely enjoy like the creation part of it, like getting everyone together. But prep time, main thing.
Yep. I want to reiterate that to all the audience that's going to be listening to that. Prep. Because that's the thing that I think is a learned skill. I think when you first start in, I winged it for so much of my first feature that I did. I went backwards. I did a feature first because I read Rebel Without a Crew, written by Robert Rodriguez, and I'm like, if you can do it, I can do. And but except I just went in without prepping anything, did no shot list, did nothing. So it's like, let's just shoot something. And after many repeat projects, I think that's the length of time for prep keeps increasing exponentially, because that's where you realize, oh, this is the time that I can do all this stuff and be in my head without being asked 50 million questions by every single cast and crew member.
Right.
So I spend so much time with prep, and I say that for prep, the best thing to do is like figure out a way to like automate it, so that like in your time of duress on set, you can just be like, okay, my shot list is this, so just point to this and be like, this is what we're doing. I don't know if it's all going to cut together, but I did the work, so it should, in
Right.
theory, cut together according to this
Exactly.
list that I did, like a checklist. Yeah.
Exactly. No, it's definitely, you get excited at first and you're just like, oh my gosh, we can make something, we can make a movie, we can make this magic. But you got to get all the nitty gritty details down first and then have fun.
Yeah. Since your background a lot, how did you get into producing?
Yeah, I studied production in college. It was very vague. Oh, I went to the University of Central Florida in Orlando. I was a student athlete there, ran track, and I studied radio and television production. So it was very broad, though. So I learned a lot of studio, like news production, like switchboards and using a camera. So I didn't really get exposed to the actual short film world until I moved out here to LA in August 2020. Graduated May 2020, moved out here August 2020. I know that sounds crazy because COVID was going on, but I was like, let's do it and figure it out. And when I moved out here, I didn't know anyone. I knew I wanted to be a producer, and I've networked and watched a bunch of webinars and just figured out what to do. And I don't know, when you see producer, a lot of people tell you, go the traditional route. You do PA, associate producer, all of that. And with everything being shut down, I didn't like waiting. I didn't like waiting for someone to give me permission. So I'm like, let's just produce. Let's figure something out and find the content to produce. So after that, I networked and met a bunch of students and just young creatives around my age who were in that same boat. And with that, I founded my nonprofit, which is called Generation Networks. So that is essentially a community of young creatives who collaborate on content. We support each other. We give each other advice. We have speaker series with professionals that come on and just give us advice and help us out. And after I founded Gen Networks, I met Nicole, who was the creator and writer of my first short film that I ever produced, which is called Morena. And that's about the colorism issue in the Filipino community. So we produced that, and that was my first taste of producing, and I loved it. And from then on, word of mouth, I just met other young creatives, mainly from my nonprofit, actually. A lot of my friends I met through my nonprofit. And from there, we just began creating and just helping each other out. So that's how I started. And yeah, a lot of my projects are just from peers and network members and word of mouth, and a lot of students as well.
For someone who's also moved and left everything that I know, friends and stuff, that got here to Los Angeles, and I'm sure there's plenty of those people in LA. What's your advice for getting ingrained into LA? Because LA is such a spread out place.
Yes. Yeah.
And I find it to be a lot more difficult to make genuine, real connections here compared to other places. So what worked for you, and like what events did you go to? What's your advice for meeting people?
So besides my roommates, of course, I didn't know anyone. What worked for me, very different, was my nonprofit, to be honest. Like, literally, that's how I found my community, and that's how I found my close friends. And then from then on, like all my friends know each other through that nonprofit, or I met maybe one or two of them on set. So that is what worked for me. However, I met people through Facebook groups. A lot of people, I started using Facebook a lot more once COVID hit, because that was the main source of networking and connection. So there are a lot of Facebook groups from to Sisters of LA, which are just Black women in LA, and they literally post online. They're like, hey, I'm looking for friends, want to get coffee. And especially because LA is so spread out, it's hard to find that community right off the bat. So it was through my nonprofit, and once you meet like one person and you find like that's a genuine connection, you tend to just meet more people, and it's just kind of fate that comes together. Because it really was fate that I met this group of women who I literally create movies with, which is amazing. And then I also play tennis. This is just a side note. So I met a lot of people through playing tennis, and a lot of people in the industry that play tennis. So if you have like a skill or like a sport that you like to play, odds are somebody in that sport is in the industry. Like everyone out here is some sort of creative, something. So like just get out there. I would say utilize Facebook groups, utilize networking events, and find a skill or a hobby that you enjoy doing. Because at the end of the day, of course you're working, you're hustling, but find some outlet to like express yourself, some outlet to get yourself away from like the busy world of like Hollywood, and have fun doing that. Tennis, I've met so many people, so many amazing people, from editors to like production designers, and they just having a conversation with them. And you learn a lot through that, and then you gain another friend. So
that's perfect. Great advice. Yeah. I play tennis too, so if you want,
oh no way,
yeah, yes,
yes.
Where do you go to play tennis?
I play at Burbank Tennis Center. I actually coach there, so that's my day job. I'm a tennis coach. I coach at a youth academy, so I coach children from 3 years old to like 16 years old.
Yeah, I'm terrible at tennis. I used to be JV in high school. That's about the extent of it. And then I played a little bit intramural in undergrad and stuff. And now I'm picking it back up. So
I didn't know you were JV in high school. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was doubles JV stuff.
Nice.
Wow.
Doubles is not my favorite.
I actually, switching from doubles to single was like hard, because then the boundaries of out of bounds like shifted, and it took a lot to get used to that, being like, well, that would have been in if we were playing doubles.
Right. Right.
What are doubles? Is it with a partner or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 versus 2, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then the boundaries of out of bounds shrinks. So it expands when you're playing doubles. So when you're playing singles, it's like the first line is in the second line or something.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Was there? I have a question for you, Loren. Was there something specific about producing that was just like that really called out to you, other than like the collaborative experience and like meeting peers and whatnot? Was there something that was like, producing is my thing? Because we all want to be creative in our own ways, and I've only met maybe a few people in my life who are like, yeah, I want to be a producer, because producing is relentless. So I'm curious what draw you to it.
I want to say when I first started college, I had this like epiphany, which is super, like really random. I was laying in bed and I was like, I don't decide what gets put into production. So that was like the main click, because growing up, I love television, by the way. Growing up, I used to be so pissed off or upset when a show would get canceled. And I would be like, I need to email these people because they are not doing this, and correctly. I'm like, they took the story this way and it should have gone this way. And I used to get so upset. So the main click where I'm like, okay, maybe I should get into development. So when I researched development a little more, that was like the main goal. I also realized that like a lot of development executives, they work in the office. And then I think my mind, I was just like, I don't know if I want to, be in an office all day. And once I got on set for the first time, I liked the environment. I loved being there, meeting everyone, because I also like to make sure that everything from top to bottom, everyone is enjoying themselves. So I always hear like horror stories where like, oh, it was terrible on set, or the director was this or this and that. And if I'm the main like person getting everything together, putting everything in production, I want to make sure everyone on the floor is enjoying themselves and having a good time, and no one's like just tarnishing the name or anything like that. So with producing, I like to be able to get the script, read it, decide if I want to produce it or not. I like bringing everyone together. So building out the crew, because I like saying, oh, I have like, oh, this person would be great for the job. This person would be phenomenal. And then I like being on set to just see how everyone does their job. I also like learning everyone's different jobs. So like from grips to gaffers to first ACs.
Right.
And then I also like to just, ask, how are you doing? Because I'm not picky, but like, one thing that a lot of people say that have worked with me, they come back to work with me because they enjoy being on set. Like I have a very chill set and we have fun. I'm not a very serious person, and like my producers and I tell everyone this all the time. We're like, we're not that serious. Like have fun, we goof off. I mean, I don't know. I don't like that energy on set because we're literally like kids making up stories. Like it should be fun the whole time. Like it should be fun. Of course you get down to business, you go on your computer, you do your thing, but when you're on set, I just want to make sure that everyone is enjoying themselves, learning a lot as well, and just everyone is doing the job that they aspire to do. I also like to ask, like, is this what you want to do for a living? Like, are you getting the experience and the exposure that you want?
Right.
You're speaking my language. No, I think it's important. I think we get so caught up in the business, the hustle and bustle, the grind, we got to make it and all that stuff that I think a lot of people lose sight about. Like, making movies is supposed to be fun.
Right.
Yeah. And so I think upper management or top of the line or whatever you call it affects tone so much on a set.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it's important to create a tone that is collaborative and inviting and fun. And it starts from the top. And so much of the sets that I've not enjoyed is the trickle down effect of toxic masculinity, toxic environments.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the advantage that you have too, Loren, is that like you now are like understanding of other departments as well. Like you said, you were Hollywooding a flag, with the grip department. Like, was there a specific department that you've maybe not worked in, but learned about that you're like, holy shit, this is a lot.
Yeah. So for the first time, I stepped outside of the producing area and I worked on a feature film, my first feature film as the prop master. Now,
Art department, let's go.
Props department. And I knew the producers of the project. It went on BET Plus. It's called Black Girl Erupted. And I knew the producers, but they didn't have any like producer assistant roles. So they're like, do you want to be a PA or an art PA? I'm like, art, of course. Like, let me check it out. I've been a PA before. And that was different. And it was fun. I love like, going on Amazon, picking what needs to be done. But like the hustle and bustle of when they have like a food scene or a restaurant scene, oh my gosh. I'm like watching the screen like, okay, he took a sip. Let me replace the sip and then go like as soon as they call cut, replace the water, replace the wine, or I learned how to make fake wine and fake white wine and whiskey, and it's very, very interesting. Very fun though, I will say. But you have to be on it.
There's resets.
The whole time. Resets.
Gosh.
And like even as a producer, like sometimes you go to set and everyone's doing their job, so you can kind of sit around and kind of wait and see if any issues pop up.
Observing.
When you're you're observing. But when you're a prop master, you're on it, like watching everything all the time. And that's also why like directing worried me, because I'm like, I have to be like working the whole time. like I have to be like, what's next on the thing? Like what's next on my shot list?
Right.
It's definitely a different experience, but I enjoyed it. I really did. Like it was so cool.
You're speaking Adam's language because Adam is specifically production design. Props.
Love that, Adam. Love that.
Well, it's one of those things where you don't know until you're in it, and then you're like, oh, this is a lot, and I nothing more than I hate than watching something with food in it, because I just 100% know that's like, oh, if you do more than 5 takes, this must be a nightmare. Like you're resetting, you're doing all that. And it's a group setting too. Like I've seen shows where they have like, whole like family dinner thing, and you see that like shots of the food of them like cutting into the food. I'm just like my brain is just like like going convulsing because like I just can't
Crazy.
imagine resetting all that. It's insane.
Crazy.
You need at
We
least
did have
10 people.
We had one family scene, and they weren't eating much though, which was great. 'Cause
That's
I was
awesome.
watching, and they were
I
like
love that.
tiny little sips, or I think they were talking more. There was a lot of dialogue going on, so I was like, oh
I
my God,
love that.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Instead of just a silent,
fun.
just eating. Like I've done a short
Right.
film where I had to reset a plate of salad 32 times. And this director was just unrelenting. Like it was just a constant, like, let's go, let's move. I probably used up like 15 of those like giant Costco lettuce bags for like salads and whatnot. And it got to the point where I'm like, okay, there's gotta be something to give. And then the next set I did was another food scene. And I was like, if this is going to happen again, all dialogue. It was literally all dialogue. And I was like, I've reset maybe twice. And that was it. There was nothing more. And I was like, can every single set do this? I just want nothing but talking.
Right. No actual eating, no drinking, nothing.
Please, none of that. I don't want to reset another wine glass for the 500th time.
Oh my God.
You know?
Have you tried resetting a wine bottle? Like I'm trying to pour into the small bottle, and I'm like, this is all over my hand. I'm like,
you have a funnel, and then I'm just like, I'm like a car mechanic, but for like food. You know, it's just like. It's exhausting, but at least like that's the thing though. A lot of producers don't necessarily. I don't want to say they don't have appreciation for it, because I've definitely worked with producers who were nice about it, but like there's definitely producers who just felt like, oh, I'm above that. You know, I don't want to, you know, it's just like, I don't know. I always like those producers that are very hands-on and can communicate through that department. Like with our department, with you know, like you can probably communicate a lot easier with production or, with art department and production design than like a normal producer who's just there to just really host the party. You know,
exactly.
You're hands-on. You understand.
Yeah, you understand the time that it takes to build a set or to reset props. So you're not like rushing someone, and now you kind of just look like a jerk now. You're like, okay, I have to reset 50 wine glasses, and you want me to do that in like 2 minutes. Like, no, I have to make sure it's appropriate. So that's why I like learning the different roles on set. From like, you have to understand lighting takes this amount of time. Like, camera setup takes this amount of time. Like, you have to work around that.
I think the issue that I run into with when I AD new directors is the lack of perspective. And so they only think that their job is the most important because they don't have knowledge about what it takes for the other jobs. And I think a lot of it is just not knowing why someone else's job is important.
Yeah.
And so then everybody else become like second class citizens because they're like, oh, only camera is important. You know?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
So I'm glad you talked about perspective and just having been in the shoes of being a prop master. Now you know that it's a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Right. Great experience though. It was very cool. Different world.
So you basically been through different facets of producing. You've done a show, you've done shorts, you've done a feature, right?
Just as a prop master.
Just as a prop master.
Yeah.
Was there is there like a environment that you feel like you thrive in the most, like whether it's like a show or a short film? I mean, shorts, of course, you know, you're in, you're out.
Right.
You're just like, it's 1, 3, 4, 5 days, and then that's about it. But with the show, there's a rigorous schedule. There's consistency.
Yeah.
You like, it's almost like you're working in a chef kitchen. You know, it's just like there's a rule for everything. Do you prefer that, or do you prefer something a little more low key, a little more chill with the short?
You know, honestly, many shorts, so that's like my bread and butter now. But I
Right.
like the challenge of the show. Like I got into this industry because I wanted to do television shows. I like the continuation of it, and I think just as a viewer, I don't like when movies end. So that's why I like the TV shows. I get to keep coming back into these characters' lives. So I love the challenge of this, and this is my first time doing a web show. So I think I would want to continue doing it. To be honest, I am definitely looking forward to season 2. I've also been a talent in a TV show. So like that's like a different, that's a different, there's a lot of different.
Yeah, you're in front of camera, behind camera. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on a show and that was experience as well. And I the difference between that and like obviously a web series or like that timeline and everything versus a short film. But films was definitely, I think I will always continue to do short films no matter how big I get, to be honest. I think I just love the intimate crew, short time frame, and just, I don't know, it keeps you grounded. One thing I always want to remind myself is to stay grounded and remember where I came from. And even when I'm producing like big TV shows and movies, I really want to continue doing short films.
Yeah, I've definitely jumped around about how I feel about short films and stuff, and I this year did too. And a lot of it is, I feel like short films you're able to test concepts easier. It's not as big of a time suck, and so you're more willing to be like experimental and try different things.
Right, very true.
Because the stakes are a lot lower, and so it's easier to pivot. And I do agree, having the small community crew is it's great. Yeah, different feeling for sure. You get closer to people and everything.
Right.
Yeah, I when I did my feature released to Last Ursula, I thought, oh well, I don't need to do shorts anymore because I don't know. I thought like you
once you pass that,
you're on this other one thing. But what I jumped into doing it was like it takes so many resources and money and everything to get a feature off the ground that you could be waiting for many years before you get to direct again. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go make some shorts because at least I can exercise my directing chops somehow and practice and all that jazz. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally understand especially with the financial aspect of it. I mean, series versus shorts, it's a lot. Finances are at different levels on those two, but I do enjoy it.
Where do you want to see your series go to? Is it going to only live on YouTube, or is the plan to use it as a pitching tool to make it something that goes to TV?
Right. So I will post on YouTube. The plan is to also promote it to smaller streaming services like Quelly TV and Film Hub. And those are very like for the people, they also pay you and stuff like that. I also would like to pitch it though. I would like to pitch it to companies for it to go and live on TV and kind of revamp the show and make it bigger and better. But at the end of the day, I would like all eyes on it just for people to just resonate with it and enjoy it. And
You mentioned, could you repeat what platform it was? It was Quelly?
Yeah, Quelly TV, KWELI TV.
I never heard of that either.
Yeah, they are an online streaming service. They pay you. You can always pitch your projects to them. I've met them actually. Yeah,
it's like
I met them when I
Bandcamp,
first
but
moved out
better.
here.
That's awesome.
Quelly TV. I think one of the owners when I first moved out here to LA, and we were just talking because I had first started my nonprofit. So now it's like, now's the time where I can reconnect, and I'm like, that's great. And I heard of Film Hub, I think, on social media, like recently.
Is Quelly, just out of curiosity, because I'm on it right now, I see that their focus is definitely Black excellence. Do they expand beyond that, or is it POC platform?
It's a PLC platform.
Okay. Oh my, yeah, it's like a bet, basically. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, good to know.
Quality
Have you had much luck when it comes to reaping some sort of financial aspect from a lot of these shorts and series that you've done? Because I think a big thing is that people don't want to do shorts also because they don't have as big of a probability of reaping back any sort of financial benefit. So what's your take on that?
So this is my first time ever making a project where one of the goals is to reap some type of financial benefit, like as a back pay. Because any other project I've done, it was mostly like passion projects to build reels, to build portfolios, to build everyone's portfolios. So this is the first time I'm really like anything that I produce now, it's like we're honing in on like marketing, distribution, and getting some type of back pay for that and just promoting it. I mean, I feel like I still sometimes feel like I'm a beginner, but everyone around me is like, oh, no, like you're like the main person that's producing.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a new experience. So I'm hoping doing the promotions and marketing for Homegirls, this web series, will kind of train me and get me used to just like actually promoting my work a lot more and focusing on that financial aspect of it. And I'm learning a lot from Mylin, actually, from Film Girls Brunch. And she's like our marketing mentor and like our saving grace.
I'm actually going to go hang out with her in an hour or two. We're supposed to go watch Oppenheimer, so I'm very excited.
Oh, nice,
yeah,
nice.
We're watching it at the TCL, which I've never been inside, so I'm like,
ooh.
That theater is great.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Yes.
So for do you have any other, I mean, I'm sure you probably don't want to talk about all of it, but any future producing projects that you got going on?
Yeah, I have projects that are premiering that are past projects, but they're premiering this coming year. And one is called Sincerely Your Friend, and that is a mental health film that I co-wrote with my sister, and it's based off a true story. And that is premiering in September 8th, I believe.
Where at?
On YouTube. Premiering September 8th on YouTube. And it's also premiering at the TCL Chinese Theater at the Silicon Beach Film Festival.
Right on.
I was actually September 16th, I believe. If I mess up the dates, I'll let you know right away. I was just told the date like yesterday. But that film is premiering on YouTube September 6th. And I also have a proof of concept dark comedy called Cottonmouth that I produced, and that will be premiering in October. That will be a private screening, and we don't have a public screening yet actually for that. We want to run it through the festival circuit. Future projects, I am producing 3 theses. That's what I'm focusing on right now for fellow peers and friends. And those I will start premiering in the fall.
Right on.
Oh, sorry. Filming in the fall. Sorry.
Filming in the fall. Right on.
Yes.
Is there like... I'm always curious how people's like how they set goals and whatnot. When I was making shorts every year, I'd have a goal as to what I wanted to accomplish as a filmmaker, and that's how I would pick what projects I would end up doing. So what's your next big career goal in terms of what you're trying to learn or the kind of story you want to tell?
My next big career goal, it was my show, to be honest. That was like my main checklist for the year of 2023. And my goal overall for this year and for the next few years is to produce more content highlighting just Black women and in different spaces. And all of my shorts that I'm producing right now, they are focused on that. That is my main goal. One of my shorts is a Black, gangster. She's like a gangster, I guess you can say. I can't tell you too much about it, but it's also based off a true story, and it's great.
Okay.
And That's essentially my goal. That's also how I pick my projects. They have to have a person of color as the lead.
Very cool.
And a great story, of course.
Of course. Talking about great stories, you said you wrote this, or was it that you wrote a short with your sister?
I wrote "Sincerely Your Friend" with my sister. So that
Gotcha.
one, a little backstory with that one.
Yeah.
I wrote a story, like the script, and I wanted to gain just better advice and experience from someone who deals with mental health and deals with mental health struggles. And during COVID, because COVID was the first time I was home for a long time because I went away to school. So this is the first time I was home for a good 6 months, and she wasn't dealing with just COVID very well. She wasn't dealing with being home all the time very well. And I interviewed her, and I just talked to her, like, how does she feel when she's just not feeling her best, when, like, the anxiety and depression kind of kicks in. And so she responded back, and everything she said, she also said it very beautifully, too. And everything she said, I used as the dialogue for the film. So everything that's said from the character in the film is everything she said with her own words. Mm-hmm. And I, of course, asked for her permission, and she said yes, of course. She's our co-producer. And we kind of put our minds together, and we created just like a ongoing story of it's just one character in this film. She's going through her day, and you hear the voiceover of everything my sister said about going through the mental health and saying like how like to tell your family about it or what people may see versus what you're experiencing, stuff like that.
How did you feel develop? Oh, go ahead, Christine. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just gonna ask. I was like, how was it emotional for you? Like, was there like a huge, because like to just like interview my sibling, to just get my sibling to focus for more than 5 minutes is incredible. But like, I can't imagine like having such an emotional journey with, I can imagine interviewing your sister. How was that experience like?
It was very hard. It was very different because, especially coming, my family, we're not, especially in the old, like the Black community, not a lot of us talk about it, especially as my parents being older. So we don't know how to help sometimes. So when I was reading it, it was a lot of things that she was going through that she doesn't express to us, or she doesn't know how to, or we just don't understand. She literally states like sometimes your family just doesn't understand, what you're going through. And it was very eye-opening. It made me obviously talk to her, and like every once in a while I'd want to check up on her. But for her to even be that vulnerable and even be able to tell me these things and be open to other people hearing about it, it was very emotional. But I know, and I feel a lot better, and I know she's feeling so much better too. But I told her, like, every time we have a screening, there's someone that comes up to me and they're like, hey, I relate to this. I feel a lot better. But like, a lot of people are going through this. It's not uncommon. And just to hear those stories from her, it's different, especially because, I'm the youngest, by the way. She's the middle sister. There's one above us. And, it's weird when you kind of see like an older sister, going through that, and you don't really know how to help. There were times during, lockdown where like I had no idea what to say. It's just like she's going through a lot of different things that we can't really fully understand, and we may not ever understand it. But it's just the idea and the closing argument of the story and the film is just to like be there for them, understand. You don't always have to understand to just help fully, but just listen to them and figure out a way to just be there for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What was your experience navigating? Because this is a true story. So was there, obviously you got her permission and everything, but what are some things for people who might be looking to do something inspired by a true person that you would suggest to our listeners?
Definitely get permission. Talk to the person, see if it's okay to write about them or take aspects from their story. And I would say be open to collaboration, because I collaborated with my sister when I showed her the final script and showed her the final product. I mean, she was able to see the cuts and the film come to life. So see if they're open to collaboration, because I think when you bring that authenticity to the film and to the story, it makes it all the better. Like, it makes it feel more real and more relatable.
It's authentic in its own way. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say, do you feel like you gravitate towards stories that are based off of reality? Because like your mini series is about your 4 friends essentially, and then you have this short that is about your sister. So
Yeah.
that's your style.
I do. I think, especially starting out, being an independent producer, and for me, who I don't naturally write. I write out of necessity, but I don't naturally write. So when you start from what you know. You pull from experience and you pull from life. And when you start doing that, you realize there's a lot of stories that you haven't told or you haven't hit, and a lot of people haven't seen either. So I think that it also makes it a lot more fun, because you're just, especially when I'm writing about my friends, you're like, oh, this happened, that happened. Not everything is true on the show, just forewarning for everyone that watches it. Some things are true. Maybe we will reveal what's true and what's not. But I think I do gravitate towards that, because I just think it's just more personal and it just feels great. And when, like, growing up, I call myself, or I describe myself as the epitome of, I'm an example of how representation matters. So I was able to see myself in television, not necessarily movies, but in television, I was always able to see someone that looked like me and just resembled someone like me. And I think that's what helped me grow as a person, as a woman, and as a creative, because I was able to see, shows like Girlfriends and shows like Living Single, and like that's kind of helped me grow and maneuver myself through the real world, because it's not just like nurture, but it also is like nature from TV shows and just real life experiences. And I think that's why I gravitate towards everything that's just kind of based off of real life, because it really does help people, get through tough times and like laugh. And it was always my outlet.
It's interesting. I'm going to piggyback on that representation does matter.
Yes.
I've only recently really realized it, because there's been so much content that's come out recently for our community, the Asian American community, that I had to reevaluate, like, why am I so surprised and I realized when I was growing up, there was not anything, and because of that, I actually, as a kid all the way to teens, wanted to not be Asian. From a weird standpoint. I tried to avoid it. I try, to me it was like, oh, my parents are stifling me, and I'm in America, like I want to be this and stuff. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way we were portrayed in the media, where when you did see us, it would be like, oh, we had the funny accent, we were not cool, and all that stuff. And so now, seeing like Joyride, seeing obviously Crazy Rich Asians, and like so many, that now we have a whole TV show. I have American Born Chinese and all this other stuff, and everywhere to have something like, entirely in Mandarin, everything everywhere all at once. Come out is the farewell. All that is fantastic. And I'm sure for you, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but like, you're probably tired of the same narratives that you're saying, the trauma narratives for Black lives, right?
Yes.
There was stuff, but it was all like, oh, historically, all the trauma and stuff, which is also very important, but like,
that's not the only narrative.
Exactly. Yes, there's more
That's
to
it.
it.
Yeah, right. And that's why I love comedy so much as well, is because a lot of shows that star Black people these days, they are dramas. And there was an era where there was Black comedies on television. I mean, they were running it from Moesha to Girlfriends, and they all stopped at the same time, which is crazy, because they all got canceled at the same time. And then they also, it was on a network called UPN, and that network is gone. They got rid of it, and Living Single, which is, anyone doesn't know, it's the blueprint for Friends that came out first. And after that was gone, everyone kind of just forgot about comedy and Black people being Black people and just being there and having fun. So that's why I really want to bring that back to the sitcoms and, like, you know, seeing people be people. Like, we don't have to go through struggle to be on TV.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a dramatic struggle.
Exactly.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Is there anything as we put it to landing? What would you like to promote? What are you looking for support-wise? What do you want people to do? What can help you right now in your journey to getting your series made?
Yeah. So please follow and stay tuned, or just watch the post updates for Homegirls on Instagram. It's called Homegirls_show. And that is what is coming out in January 2024. Follow, support, like, reshare, and also follow my production page, a Loren Maxine production. We will also be hosting a collaboration event, just premiering all my films and all my projects in the new year. So stay tuned for that. And that is where you can learn about upcoming projects, where you can support us, because we are all independent producers and filmmakers and just young creatives. And yeah, stay tuned, follow. And if you ever want to just talk about production stuff and ask for advice, feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram. Loren_Maxine, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think as a community for film, especially now, I think the way to stay strong is to support each other's projects, so that the money and whatever stays within the circles. As we can see now with the strikes and everything, where it's like you have a conglomerate that's making it all, and then it trickles down, and then people can have an actual living. So I love independent films. That's how I grew up in the ranks. So this whole, LA is such a union place, but everything that I've ever done has been independent, and I think the way that we continue to thrive is communities, is people helping each other on projects. You know, I scratch your back, you scratch my back type thing, and offering advice and support. So thank you for shedding light onto your process.
Thank you. I mean, this is the time for independent projects. So if you had an idea, if you have something you just want to create and you just want to scratch that itch, go for it. Connect with other people that want to do the same.
Yeah.
No, this has been great. Thank you so much, Loren. I appreciate you taking your time, an hour of your time, to hang out with us and talk about your stuff. I hope you come back soon, especially with all the other future projects that are going to be happening. You know,
definitely. Thank you both for having me on. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we enjoy doing this a lot. Aside from all the technical issues that we always have, like, all the time, we prefer this because this is like our excuse for us, like, hanging out. Like, especially me being here in Austin, you know, I can just get updated on what the situation is with Christine. So
this is I call it our public therapy session.
It's therapy
in the independent film industry.
Yeah.
In general, yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, I think that's about it, Chrissy, unless there's something else you want to bring up before I wrap this up.
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Well, you know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Get Reelisms Podcast. So we're having these books. We got the hats. We got the T-shirts. We got them all, ladies and gentlemen. GetReelisms.com. Get it. So, and then all the links to Loren's social media, her website, it's going to be all in the description. So please go follow. Please support independent filmmaking and support Loren, because she's rad, everybody. So we gotta hype her up, and we gotta hype the projects up. So thank you again, Loren. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We appreciate you. And yeah, I mean, that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
Just
Christine.
make sure to find us. Yeah, if you want to be a guest, you can always reach out to us. We usually shoot on Sundays at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time or 12:30 in Adam's case. And yeah, make sure to subscribe. We are on all the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, you name it. And we're already on 124 episodes. I mean, we know we kind of know what we're doing now ish.
No, we have no idea what we're doing, but we're
we're
trying. We're doing it in style with our hats and our books. Let's fucking go.
Go out there. Hopefully you feel inspired, and the purpose of this is so you can learn and go out there and make your own movies. So
Yes,
that's right.
You two are killing it, by the way. Y'all are killing it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
124. That's crazy. That's amazing.
We try, we try to be consistent. There's some weeks we're not, but we're always here because we always love talking movies. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate you, Instagram. We appreciate you, Facebook. But that's it for us. Goodbye.
Bye.